So we are live now. Yeah, we can reduce the music and everyone can mute. Yeah, hi guys. Welcome to our live session today. It's been quite some time. Have you missed us? We are all very busy people. After the break in the new year, we found it quite difficult coming together. Everyone has been busy, different schedules. Finally, we've been able to make it to your screen today. And we are here to, in a better way, we're trying to make this year better. So now that we're back with you, we want you to trust us that we're going to remain with you. So what are we going to talk about today? First of all, we will be, please can we mute? So first of all, we will be reminding ourselves of what we were able to achieve last year, just briefly, our visions for this year, and then we're going to be discussing a topic around a trending issue that happened recently. And what we tag the topic is going to be handling difficult levels. So just early this week, we were inundated with a sad story of a young American doctor who killed himself, allegedly. And the stories we heard about it has been quite worrisome. However, we know that this is not just a solitary case, as similar cases occur worldwide on a regular. And there are issues around this that we can discuss, although we do not have details of what happened. But definitely there are things we can learn from this story. So let's start off with what we were able to achieve last year. Last year, we started this project where we wanted to bring people of great minds who had good insights to discuss topics, relevant topics that affect us on our daily life, mostly family related, sometimes health. We started the project. We are all busy people, but we're able to keep it going. We brought to your screen different engaging topics, and we had good feedbacks from people. Initially, we had a lot of hiccups, but over time, we're able to overcome some of them, and the quality of our production improved, as attested to by a lot of feedbacks we got. Now that we're back on the screen, we want you to continue to support us as you did last year. And what's our plan for this year? Our projection for this year is to continue from where we stopped. However, we want to aim at impacting more people. So we want to increase our reach. We want to try to be as regular as possible and predictable. So we want you to be assured that we'll be here with you every week as we used to be. We want to encourage our guests to send us messages, tell us your concerns, give us your feedback. If you have stories that you would like to share, feel free to send it to us. We have arrangements where any stories sent to us would be anonymized. And if these stories can help the public, then please do reach out to us. We are going to be very happy to entertain them. Okay, so let's move on to what we want to talk about. Guys, there are people that we consider successful in life, and a lot of people look up to them and say, wow, I wish to have this kind of person. I wish to be this person. And then when we hear that such a person decides to take his life off, then we get shocked. Like, what will result in that? Whatever will result in that must be something very serious, and I think it's what we're talking about. So in this case, we have a 38-year-old. I hope I'm not mixing the age, but around 38-year-old cardiologist in the United States. This is someone that will generally be considered someone of very high repute and very successful for his age. Oh, I just got information that he's actually 36-year-old. So he's someone that is considered as very, very well accomplished. From the information we got, he's been having this running battle with his ex-wife, and it ended up with him dying. As alleged, he was he had his family in with the ex-wife in a kind of situation where he held them to gunpoint. We don't know how true this is, but when the police came in, he shot himself, also as alleged. Having said this, what can we learn from this story? We keep finding that a lot of marriages are ending in divorce. In fact, it's said that approximately 56% of marriages end in divorce. If you go to TikTok today, almost every live sessions, people are talking about marriage. And I used to say, if it was TikTok existed 20 years ago, I'm sure we'll be talking of something else. The fact that we are talking about marriages every time just shows that marriages are having a lot of issues, and we cannot ignore this. That being said, it's one thing to get divorced, it's another thing to have a process that is smooth with no rancors, no enmity. It's very few that engage in such kind of divorce. Most cases, you have a lot of fightings, a lot of quarrelings. You have people doing it in a way just to sometimes spite the other person or hurt the other person. And then, how can we do it better if we've got into that stage? I don't know what will have led to what happened. Some people would say that it's possible that it's because of the money that he was told to be paying monthly, which is the child support. I doubt if that is the case. He's economically very okay to take care of that, and it doesn't really make sense that that is the main trigger. I suspect that the main trigger for the whole thing is him being denied access to his children. I find that it's something that most men find difficult to accept. When after a divorce they are being denied access to their children, it can ruin most men. So I have a reason to think that that might be the main factor that stimulated the whole thing. However, there is no excuse to kill oneself or to kill others, no matter what has happened. We cannot be oblivious to the fact that people have different thresholds to which they will react to a certain event. What you might tolerate, another person might not be able to tolerate. So we are not judging. We are not here to judge anyone, but we're just here to learn. So let's kick the ball rolling. What we are going to do, just because we are still in this stage of using this medium to broadcast, we are still dealing with some technical issues. So please be patient with us. We are going to do it one person talks at a time just to reduce the echo. So I'm going to mute now, and I'm going to listen to Innocent. Innocent, let's listen to you. And while I bring up Innocent, please, Sheung, can you bring him to the main screen so we can see his face? Tell us, what's your take about what has happened, and what do you think we can learn from this this sad story, this sad event?
Well, I only heard about the story today, and I read about it. Most major newspapers in Nigeria are carrying it. The guy is from Anambra State, but he lives in the US, and he's 36 years old. So from the story, he held his family on hostage after the judgment on their divorce case. But it doesn't make sense for him to do all that, because it's somehow, just like you said, the truth is this: it is very wrong for someone to tie their goal. Like when you tie your goal to a particular thing in life, like it is for me, I don't feel like we should be dependent on anything in life, overly dependent on something, because when that thing, life is so uncertain, you can't be sure. Because when that thing is gone, what do you then do? So probably this guy is so passionate about his family, and that's probably the only thing he feels he has, because we are seeing him to be successful from the outside, looking at his profession, looking at the state, like the position he is, looking at the country he is. Everybody wants to be in that position. Most persons want to be in that position where he is. But now it is surprising to see such a person give up. Now, a lot of things would have triggered that idea of taking his own life. Probably when I learned that from one of the stories, they said the nanny was able to escape during the hostage and called the police. So the police showing up at the scene might probably have triggered his that reaction of taking his own life, because he will be charged for attempted murder and the rest of it, for hosting people's hostage and the rest of it. So that may be the reason why he took his life. But the point is this: for him to even get to that point where he had to take up the gun to hold his family hostage, it shows that he probably just lost hope. Lost hope, because basically that's the only thing he has placed his mind. So in life, let's not place our mind on one thing. That's my take. Like on any human or even on anything, because these things can easily go away. And when they go away, we need to keep moving. Some days ago, I posted something about losing a parent. I just imagined, like, it will be one of the most difficult things. I still have my both parents, my dad and my mom. I thought like to be one of the most difficult things for anybody to bear the loss of a parent, because it's something that lives with you. So I was just trying to imagine how it would feel for me to lose my dad because he was not really feeling well, you know? Or to lose my mom. But you see, if you put hope on these things too much, when that happens, it brings you down. A lot of persons get depressed because they put too much hope on something, maybe in their relationship, in their marriage, or whatever. The best way to live life is to take it day by day and keep it simple as possible. Yeah, that's my take on this matter. So for me, I really feel bad about the story. I read it and I felt so bad for the guy. It is not enough to take your life. Nothing should make anyone want to take their life. To me, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, thank you so much. Guys, please remember to keep tapping and double tapping just so we can remain on the live. Our host is not is a bit new on this app, so we will need your help in doing that. Okay, thank you so much, Innocent, for your view. Can you put me to the main screen while I talk? Oh yeah, so I get what you're saying, which is it looks unreasonable, the action that he took. However, I know it's easy to judge, but I keep saying that you never can tell until you are in that same situation. I feel he didn't expect things to end that way, but I think when the police came in, maybe it might have just made him think that what is there anymore? I've lost my family, I might likely lose my job, I might end up in prison. I have been such a great man until now. What is there to live anymore? Let's just end it. I never can tell how quick people can make wrong decisions. So I will not want to dwell too much on blaming him, although it looks quite unreasonable. More so, we don't really know exactly what has happened, except when the police will finish with their investigation. I think Tunde is on live now. Tunde, do you mind sending a multi-guest request to join the panel? So thank you so much, Innocent. So let's hear from Abdul. Abdul, is your background a bit less noisy? Let's hear from you. What do you think?
Yes. Okay. Hi, guys. Good to be back to our usual show. Now, for me, I would say that I actually saw the headlines on that news, but I didn't read through, to be sincere. I didn't follow through about that news. So I'm going to probably be speaking generally on people going through divorce or through challenges in life, Unfortunately, the way people handle issues are quite different. I always tell people when you have a challenge, always try to seek help. It could be people should also learn to seek therapy, help from therapists, people who are experienced, people who know this stuff, people who've experienced it in the past would really help to guide the person going through that particular challenge. You understand what I mean? So I would have think this particular case, probably if he had sought for help, if he had sought for advice, if he had sought for support, because it's not easy. I don't know how much of in terms of losing his kids, I really don't know the genesis of what caused the divorce. I don't know what caused the issue, but people generally should learn to seek support. Learn to speak to therapy. That it's like I tell people, your therapy is also your doctor. If you're sick, you go to the hospital. So when you're going through emotional challenge, when you're going through trauma, when you're going through depression, that is to say you're ill, you're not feeling too well. So go see the doctor. And where's the doctor in this case? A therapist that will be able to guide, basically professional therapist, I would say, not just one sister brother in church that would, or somewhere in the religious home that will be telling you to keep praying and hope. Yes, prayer works, no doubt about that, yeah? So basically, we should just learn, people should learn to seek help. For the doctor, God rest his soul, may his soul rest in peace, yeah? But I believe if he had sought for help, if he had sought for support, he would have ended up this way, because it's not easy when people are going through challenges. That's what I have to say on this,
Okay, thank you so much, Abdul. That brings us nicely to the area about support, which you've mentioned. A lot of people say that men are too deep and do not really talk about the problems, and I think that contributes to some of these excessive actions that people take. Because it's very possible that if this guy had spoken to someone, he might have been able to handle the issue. Jimmy, can you mute? Yeah, okay. So he might have been able to handle the issue a bit better. There's something about, discussing something, no matter how the problem is, once you can be able to offload it, discuss it with someone, you will find that there is usually a very big relief that comes up, It might have helped him make a better decision, So for this reason, I think there is need for there to be services aside from what Abdul talked about meeting counselors and experts. I also wish there can be services where people can actually call anonymously and say their story. It can help. Sometimes when they say their story anonymously, they can tell you what they plan to do, and then just a little advice from someone can help. So that might be one of the services that we as a group might be considering, whereby people can talk to us anonymously and tell us their problems. Just one little advice can change a whole lot, can reduce the amount of suicide we're having, the amount of murders we're having, and a whole lot, because the pressure that you give yourself when you don't talk about an issue, it's too enormous, and it can lead people to do a lot of things that they will not normally do. So thank you so much, Abdul, for that submission. Now, Sean, let's listen to you. What do you think? Before then, just put yourself on the main screen.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining live. Honestly, my condolence goes to everyone. I mean, everyone. The Nigerian community, diaspora community, friends and families, sorry, even internet friends, social media friends. Everyone has been deeply affected, and stories like this does not just only affect the immediate families, it affects everyone at large, because this person is a brother, is a soul, and it shows that every life matters. We lost a soul, we lost a rare gem, irrespective of what might have happened. We lost somebody very dear, we lost a soul, irrespective of his profession. Just the fact that he is human being, made in the likeness of God, we lost somebody, we lost him. And it just shows that, when we talk about people who unalive themselves, sometimes some people don't like to use the word suicide and all. Okay, so, when people unalive themselves, it affects everybody. There are many people who must have heard stories or this particular story, and they'll be thinking about their own lives. What would happen to them? They think, oh, if this one could do it, then it's easy for them to exit as well. So it shows how how unaliving can actually affect people that are not even related to this particular person. So it's very, very how do I say, it's a very sad story. Honestly, we don't really know what happened. We cannot hear from him because he's gone. The wife must have been shattered, most especially if if it's true that he unalived himself in the presence of his family. I don't know how they will deal with that trauma. Only God can heal the families left behind. So one thing I would say is that when it comes to things like this, it's real. Oh, we have just heard about one person. We've heard about people who have even murdered their wives in the presence of their children, or children doing the same to their fathers or to their mothers. These things are real, and it's very, very painful. But all I just want to say is that when it comes to family marriage dynamics, a lot of things happens. We have a cultural norm that says don't talk to people. Okay, most especially if the woman is the victim. Okay, then I'll get back to the men. Especially if a woman is the victim, the man in question, perpetrating the abuse, can say that, oh, you are telling everybody your story. They are keeping their homes. You are destroying your home. And before you know it, the woman would sit back and just bear all things, because if anything happens, if she runs away, people will talk to her and say, all manner of things. You've run away from your home. You are not fighting for your home. What are you doing? God hates divorce. God is against us. If it's now, let's say the man now, he will think, oh, how can people hear that my wife is abusing me? Then he sits back as well. Okay, let's say, for example, let's say this man, for instance, in the scenario I'm painting, is a pastor. Oh, Daddy Gio, oh, you left your wife. Oh, which gospel are you preaching? Before you know it, what would he do? He would bear. And for some people, the way to just end it all is to end it all. Even on Facebook, you would have seen stories of people, in quotes, pastors, murdering their wives, murdering themselves, and ending all the families. It's very painful. So all I would just say is, like Mr. Innocent said, people can look for they can look for ways to solve things. They should not think that exiting is the best way out, because it affects everybody. And Mr. AY as well said that, people should take counseling. Counseling, sometimes one can be a pastor but may not be skilled, in helping married people who are facing difficulties. So in that sense, you can actually look for counselors, maybe Christian counselors or marriage counselors, as the case may be, to help. And the other thing is, mental health struggle is real. Sometimes we are the ones, that make people go through difficult times, because if somebody comes to say, this is what I'm going through, I bet it with you, once that person leaves your doorstep, people would say about that person, oh, she talks too much. He talks too much. Is he the only one having problems? So we are the ones that makes it tough for people. If a man comes and say that he's going through difficulties in his marriage, believe him. If a woman comes to say she's going through difficulties in her marriage, believe her. As it affects men, it also affects women. So in the case of this man, I watched the funeral, and the sister was talking, he loves his family. Probably he felt shattered, all hope was lost. And then another story coming out to say that he held his family at gunpoint. I can't imagine what must have been going through, through the woman, through the children. It's a very, very pathetic story. And divorce, as some people call it, affects everyone. It's not just only the bride or the woman in question, it also affects men. So people should, when it comes to gender, or when it comes to issues like this, there are usually gender wars where people think it's only women that that divorce affects. No, it affects men as well. And that's why we have to think about men's mental health. They are human as well. We should not just think the women are the only privileged person. And I would also say, when it comes to situations like this, some people may use, maybe because they are abroad or they are back at home. Okay, let me say it this way. Some people may feel that because they are abroad, they can do anything. They can run away with their children and not give access to that man. No, that's very, very bad, because you both own the children, not just you. And some people will say, okay, maybe for instance, I'm just using this example. Oh, I'm in Nigeria, no law can, arrest me. I can send my wife out in packing. Nobody can beg me. Nobody can interfere. Nobody can say anything. And you now think, oh, maybe perhaps there is no law. It's a lie. And that's why sometimes when people don't understand the extent of the law, they do anything. For instance, people may think it's okay to eat their wives. It's okay to emotionally abuse them because they think there is no law. And when those women now, cross abroad, when they go abroad, they now understand that all that man has been doing to them, or the man, or let's say it's the man, you will now understand that all that the wife has been doing is actually abuse, or abusive, or she's been abusive, or he has been abusive. And you now realize that, when they get abroad where the laws are structured, imagine like, let's say there are many people whose dad left them when they were growing up, and that man never paid school fees. That man never sent money to the children, because why? He feels that he's in a place where he can do whatever he likes. But when you now think of abroad, you brought those children into the world. You have to be responsible for them. And people think that there is no law back home. There are laws. It's just that people think that they are not accountable and nobody can talk to them. Especially when people get married, they think, they can make all that decisions. Their wives can't make decisions, or their husbands can't make decisions. They are the only ones. No, it's not right. I feel that, when we treat each other with kindness and respect, issues like this won't even come up. And for people who are not being treated with kindness, and they feel they want to leave that abusive marriage because the man has threatened them several times that I will kill you. Sometimes I hear people say to me, oh yeah, he usually says to me, I will divorce you, I will kill you. And I'm like, if somebody is saying that continuously, one, that means this person, something is wrong with him, or he does not love you anymore. or he means what he's saying. And you don't have to stay there to think, oh, he has said he will kill me, but he has not killed me. No. There are some words that are threatening to life. And I think that people in their right senses will not offer some words. People who are thinking well will not say some things. You can't go to work and say, I will kill you to your colleague. No. So why would we do that at home? I tell people, outside we look professional, but inside, who are we? Are we demons at home? Are we pretenders? May God give us wisdom. May God help us to navigate life. So things can be done, without somebody having to kill himself. It's easier said than done, but I want us to understand that unaliving actually affects everybody. It affects everybody because for years to come, people will still hear this thing. They will still see it on the internet. Imagine somebody, okay, like I was watching one documentary, I will soon round up, and or about this thing, about this particular trending issue. Somebody said, oh, my husband is from Anambra, that's how they are. No, that's his generalization. Not everybody in Anambra does that. I've lived with people from Anambra. They taught me how to speak Igbo. They've been kind to me. You understand? And men, women, children, so may God help us to take life, as it comes. And may God help us to be able to navigate life with wisdom. If that man says he wants you to go, if you don't go, he will kill you. Please take your bags and go. Get counseling. Pray for him from afar. And if he's now willing to let you come back, then you can come back. But if he says no, please just go. It is well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was great one.
Okay, thank
You're
you so
muting.
much. Yeah. Thank you so much. You can put me back on
Hi.
the big screen.
Hi, Terry. Are you okay for me to ask Sheun a question?
Yes, please ask your question.
Yeah, because when Sheun was speaking, she kept emphasizing if the man asks you to go. What if the woman says she wants to go? Or if the woman asks the man to leave?
Okay.
So should the man allow her go, or should the man leave? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I think it depends. Like for instance, I'm not saying people should accept what I've said in that in that aspect. Okay, I've had situation whereby a man said to the woman, "I don't think we can live together." He said that to his wife, and then later he's still now saying, "Come back home. I need you." So there are times that people will just utter words that they don't mean. And then later they come back to their senses, or they think, what would people say? Or what would my pastor say? What would my family say? And then they say, okay, come back home. So, people have to make their own choices. A woman can say that she's no longer interested, and she can, okay, let me even tell you a story. When I was growing up, I've seen situations. Okay, one situation, then another situation. One situation was that this woman, I just realized that I wasn't seeing her anymore. And then later I heard she ran abroad. That was when I was growing up. And then another incident also happened that a woman too also left, traveled abroad. She left the marriage. So people leave. And before they leave, they would have been planning. And they feel that the only way to leave is by leaving that environment. So if they want to leave, the man may beg to say, see, I love you. But when two people are at loggerheads with each other, nobody will beg. So people will make their choices. They will make their choices.
Sheun, the point I'm making is the way
Sheun,
women
while Abdul is talking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your emphasis while you were talking was on if the guy said he doesn't want to engage, the woman should leave before the guy gets violence, So what I'm trying to point out, it should be both ways, So you should also speak for us, the men too. So that if the woman says the men should go, we too should leave, go. You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you. No, no, thank you, Mr. Abdul, for being balanced. And, when I was talking, I thought I was being balanced, but I didn't know that I didn't touch that aspect. I didn't mean that, well, I actually did not mean that if somebody says go, you go. But if, lives are being threatened and someone is saying consistently, I will kill you and your children. I work in places where things like this, are common. So, and I wouldn't say more than that. Very common situations where people murder, different things happens. So, if somebody has been saying it consistently that leave or else I will kill you, you can just leave. And then when you can be praying from afar, and once it's settled, it can even be the one to tell you to come, but make sure that you go through counseling. Make sure that it's not pretending. Well, you can't even know, but you have to watch your backs as well. You have to watch your back. Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to contribute on what you said. Can I say something, Terry? Yeah. Why, considering the reason why the guy killed himself, one of the reasons one of the papers gave was he is going to be under three count charges of kidnapping the three persons, which is the two children and the wife. And in that place where he is, they don't play with stuff like that. It will go down with him. He might end up in prison, 25 years for each. So that could be the reason why he killed himself. Now, on that note, I'm going to draw out something. The choices we make in life matters a lot. He might have made that choice of taking up the gun based on frustration. But now look at where that choice landed him, because his plan probably wasn't to kill himself or to even kill the family. Oh my God, my lights just went off, sorry. So his plan probably was just to threaten. And that's why we have to watch what we say and what we do. Our choices matters a lot. So we have to be very careful, especially what we say. For me, personally, I take seriously what people say. I know some persons have told me that your spouse can say harsh things and you don't have to take them seriously. I don't believe in that. If somebody tells me I am stupid, then look at me and saw that I am stupid and consider me to be stupid. That's why you called me stupid. If you are telling me I will kill you, it means you have considered it, and you, like even Jesus said, out of your heart, your mouth speaks. It doesn't just come out from your mouth. So when you're talking to me, I take you seriously. I take you, just like Shehu said now, there are some things people say in the house, to their spouses, to their children, that they would never dare say outside. So why would you come home to say something like that? It's not okay, Why would you insult someone? Why would you curse someone? Or why would you say threatening words to your spouse, someone you claim to love? No, it doesn't make sense to me at all. So our choices really go a long way in life, determine what happens to us in life. And I think that's what that guy just did that made him took his life.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We are moving forward. Like I always say, it's easy to judge until you're in that situation. You understand? However, very nice points everybody has raised. I want to talk a bit about this whole idea of separating the fathers from their kids or the mothers from their kids. If the father have not done something in particular to the kids, what should warrant or justify separating parents from their kids? Because I feel that most people cannot cope with that particular aspect, maybe we should go around, if we don't mind. Just tell me what you think a man should do or a woman would do that should warrant separating them from their kids. I have personally seen on the streets people I don't know, and the men are just going after the women, fighting, just mainly because, I mean, in the country I stay, not like in Nigeria, mainly because they are being denied access to their children. And I see these men, it's usually men I've seen, they're usually very angry, like it's almost as if they want to strangle the woman. And I just feel that it's one of those things that gets test the deepest emotion that you have. It tests it, and not everybody has a good response to such. So can we just talk about it a bit? Just, if possible, maximum 2 minutes. What do you think would or justify or warrant a man, especially being separated from his kids? Let me start with Abdul.
Sorry, I just yeah, okay. Basically, people are quite different, yeah. But they always say that as long as there's life, there's hope. You know what I mean? Like this guy that has unalived himself because of probably part of the challenge might be that he's going to be separated from his kids. It's gone and gone forever. So the separation is forever. So once things like this happen, then people should always learn to comport themselves, see the bigger picture in the future, that as long as the kids get to understand what happened, just try one way or the other to still ensure you are in their lives. It could just be as a way of getting him, even if you're giving giving maybe restraining order, not to go near the kids. There will be someone somewhere that you always used to reach them to say, hey, daddy is checking on you, mommy is checking on you. It depends on which of the parents is cut off from the kids. Because eventually, these kids will grow into adults and will definitely go to make their own decision. A lot of times you see these kids go back to say, what really happened? I want to know what happened. And now analyze the situation themselves. And look, you've told us all this while we're growing up. My dad or my mom was a bad person. That's why you left. But I've discovered this was what happened. And I need to reconnect back with my father, with my mother. And you have these kids come back to you. So, but once you're gone, you're gone. You can never achieve this. If people probably see from wherever they are what happens on earth, I'm sure a lot of people who have personally got themselves would regret doing it. Like, oh, so I did this, and eventually this person isn't feeling the pain. This person is back to living life normal. These people are back to living life normal. So why did I have to do this? You know what I mean? But I think people should just let them take things easy. And I know it's not an easy task. We all have our different level of absorbing issues, of absorbing challenges. Why some of us are hard men, we also have soft men. So you understand? For someone like me, I would rather stay alive and enjoy my life, and find a way to always reach the kids, even if I'm asked not to go near them. There would always. I can keep fighting in courts, keep fighting in courts to have a way. You would one day meet a good judge that will say, no, come off it. You can't just keep this guy off this case. Okay, let's give him 1 day a week. From 1 day a week, it goes to 2 days a week, it goes to 3 days a week, and eventually, once the kids become adults, they're like, no, you can no longer see, they can't see their father. You know what I mean? So, but it has happened, I just hope that lessons will be learned from this, and people would learn to manage situations better. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul. Sheon, can you specifically concentrate on what the man would have done or the woman would have done to warrant being separated from the kids permanently?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, there are many reasons why people can be separated from their kids. Okay, I've written down to say every child needs their parents, but there are parents who don't need their children for many reasons. For instance, a or children can be taken off from their parents if they engage in substance misuse or substance use, like I mean cocaine, cannabis, and is affecting the children. Imagine like living in a dungeon, where people do drugs and children are there. It's not a good place to raise up children. So if services gets to know that, they will take that child or the children from their parents or from whoever is in custody of those children or that child. As well, parents can as well be very toxic. There are parents who can beat their children until they almost die. So that child can be taken off or separated from the parent because probably maybe they are dealing with issues. For instance, when women go through so many issues in their marriage, they tend to transfer aggression to their children, and those children will be at the receiving end. And also, couples, when they are going through so many things, maybe divorce, and they tend to use their children, to as in they tend to use their children against one another. And in cases, well, there are many cases where things may not go well, and they can take the child off, that parent or their parents. There are times where I've heard of situations like the man would even go and kidnap the child because he wants to punish his wife. People do it, and if the court gets to know that, they may say that that man or that woman should not see that child or the children anymore. And there are times that people who have powers, like let's say now the woman has got, or is influential, she can use her power to lie against that man, and then the man will never see that child again or until certain age. I've heard stories like this. And also, abuse. Parents can, like I said, they can be toxic. They can abuse their children emotionally, financially. They are not catering for their children. And then anybody that thinks or that wants to help that child might take that child off to say, okay, I can look after your child. Anytime you want to come and visit your child, come and see. But some parents or may not even go to see that child because they believe that that child is off their necks and that is it. Also, there are situations where, like I said, women maybe because they are going through situations or problems, they run away with those children. And I don't know where we got that mindset that makes us think that because women, because we carried that pregnancy, we are the owners of the children. It's for both men and women. So I believe that all those situations when people punish themselves by taking the children away may not be the best, except if, for instance, let's say for instance, a father is raping a daughter, that man should not have access to that daughter anymore. Yes. So there are situations like this, and this is life. May God just help us. So also, if it's the woman that is, doing the other, to a male child, they should be separated. That child should be separated. There are times, people put sentiment in this thing, into these things, that they say, oh no, he's a parent, just bear with them. And before you know it, those unresolved traumas will make those children, pie their parents or whoever is involved. There are situations like this, so many things. People saying their fathers abuse them, their mothers abuse them, sexually abuse them. So when that happens, that child can be taken off and should actually be separated. Yes, that is the law. Because if not, this person will continually perpetuate the abuse, will continually abuse that child, and that may even make that child become worse. So there's so many reasons, so many reasons. Sometimes I like to tell people, you would never understand or know the extent of the law until you work in certain places or until you hear certain stories. Some people may not even, they may even be the ones to even say they want to even use their children, to make money, or to go and prostitute so that you can bring money home. Okay, we will send you abroad, just be giving us money. Before you know it, those children can go away and never ask after their parents. So many things, so many reasons, but we just pray that God would help us, that these situations can be difficult, and that's why the law has to be involved. The law has to be involved. Thank you, Sas. Thank you, everyone.
So I'm just wondering, do you think if this Dr. Ikenna had done any of these serious things, that we wouldn't have known about it? Because I checked the media, checked so much to know why he was restrained, but I couldn't pick my hand on anything. Do you think if he had committed maybe molestation of his children, maybe excessive beating of his children and all that, don't you think it will have been part of the story? So I have a certain concern that sometimes I think, I'm not trying to judge the law, but I think laws are meant to be reviewed. But sometimes I just have a feeling, I can be corrected, that some of these laws can be very extreme. So a man can have issues with the wife, can have his own issues with the wife, but I think he should be separated from the children. And there has to be very solid reasons to warrant separating the children from parents. You can tell me I'm wrong, or you can if you know better. But sometimes I think some of the laws might you can mute first. I'm almost done. Some of the laws might be too quick to separate parents from their children without considering that the tie, the emotions, the bonds that exist between parents and their kids is so strong and has to be respected. So what do you think in this my submission?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Terry. I would say one thing first. Okay, we don't talk, we don't open up. I was in a meeting one day, my boss somewhere, and it was like, if my wife should eat me, I would call the police. What do you think? Nobody answered. He said it again, nobody answered. Then he called me. Oh God, I wanted to drown. Like, why me? Why? Do I look too quiet? Like, as if I'm being abused, I won't talk. You understand? And he called me. Because it's like I was just put on the spotlight. I'd worked with him. He knows me. So I just said to him, yes, sir, I agree. Because I didn't know what to say. And I can give you reasons why he called me. One, maybe perhaps I'm a Nigerian, number one. No, this is not racist too. No. One, I'm a Nigerian. We don't talk. We respect elders. We respect everybody. So even if they are abusing us, we've been taught not to talk. And that was why he called me. That was why he called me. I really felt embarrassed. So we've only heard, okay, we didn't know about the case of this man. We just got to know that he died, not until when the father-in-law opened up to say things. Otherwise, people have abused the woman to say, oh, it's because of her that maybe he died or something. And people on the internet have abused the father-in-law as well, that, oh, he does not have respect for the dead. He has done this. He has, everyone, different people, they've said so many things. So sometimes, because we are not even involved, we don't even know what has been happening. The woman in question has not said anything. Only her father spoke up for her. She's too traumatized to even say anything. She may not even remember anything. All that will just be in her mind is that he unalived himself. He unalived. Maybe she's even in a mental health home, because we don't talk. So nobody knows the reason. So sometimes when people now go to court, they are able to open up, because even if they open up to people around, nobody will believe them. They will say manage. Even if the man is even slapping her, there are people that have had a situation of a woman, a pastor's wife, that her hand even got caught by her husband. But she never said anything until she was like, it's okay. As in, she's going. Many times we don't hear things until things like this happen. And so I would encourage people, even if people don't respect you or like what you're saying, be open. I've heard women saying to me, I want to die. I want to, I'm having this suicidal thought because of their husbands. It's real. These things are real. They are real. So many of these things may actually imagine, like, let's say, for instance, a man saying to the children or the wife or the woman, let me just use a woman, saying to her children, your father abandoned you, and that's not the truth. Perhaps, okay, they made decisions, you go abroad and I will stay and then I'll come back home, but you abandoned me. He abandoned her. You abandoned the children. And before you know it, you are creating wrong impression in the heart of those children, most especially if it is not true. So these are situations that can make people go their separate ways. They'll rather live in peace than to live with a toxic person, whether man or woman. So there are so many things that we don't even know, that we don't even hear, and the society too has made it difficult. When you hear things like this on the internet, the first thing should be to condolences, but we are quick to blame. Imagine this man married to this man's daughter. Imagine how we've judged. What if, for instance, the person that unalived himself, did something bad, or the woman herself did something bad, or they both retaliated? So it as well.
So I guess, if you miss, so I guess what you're saying, which is that there might be more to such stories than we know. So let's not judge. Okay, that's fine. I just hope that when people are separated from their, I'm coming up to that. So I will call you in now. I just hope that when people are separated from their children, that there's actually a very, very good reason, because I get concerned when I see it. I don't want people to be separated for flimsy reasons, you understand? And if that is the case, then I believe laws should be reviewed. Laws are made for humans and can always be reviewed. Abdul, you wanted to say something? Let's listen to you. Meanwhile, we're getting towards the end of our show. We'll give our submissions.
I was just going to say I might log out soon because I need to be on transit now. But basically, I just want to
we just have about 2
add
minutes to end the show.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let me just add here. The court do not separate kids from their parents. In the case of divorce, it's parents that separate their kids from the other parent. Yeah, because if you go to court and the man and the woman say they are living each other, the court will ask, except when one is claiming custody and say, look, I want full custody. That's when the other person gets separated. So I just want to point that out. You can't just go to court and say, maybe I can't say no, okay, because these people are divorcing you don't have right to see the kids anymore. As long as the issue is between both parents, the court would always ask and would always give rights, most cases equal rights, except when one demands for total right and must present cases. So courts do not separate. The other parents separate the kid from the other parents. That's just what I wanted to point out before I go.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, we understand court not, but we were talking specifically about cases where parents are giving a restraining order from their kids, because I find that most of those cases are the ones that deteriorate, that leads to more issues. I've seen a number of cases and they deteriorate because it's like an extra punishment to the whole idea of divorce. So I'm just saying that when such decision is made by the courts, it has to be very, very big reason, as in justifiable reason to separate the kids. That's just what I was trying to say. Innocent, I think let's give our final statements on this, and then we'll be promising our viewers I will be back to your screen again next week by the same time. Okay, Innocent, let's hear from you. Okay, while we wait for Innocent to give his final submission, I will say that we've been able to discuss this topic today. Essentially, we're just talking generally about advices that people can take in handling this kind of difficult situation, especially when it has to do with difficult divorce process. Thank you so much for your support. If you've missed any part of the live, please use the opportunity to watch it all over again. You can keep supporting us by liking what we do. Follow us if you have not yet followed us. Forward our lives to your friends so that they can watch us. And we have a catalog of videos that we're going to build on YouTube over time that will be able to answer most of your questions. So when you're worried about something, just check. We might have discussed about it, and then you can learn from great minds on how to handle those issues that affect you. Meanwhile, Sean, do you have any final words to give before we call it a day?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Terry. I would like to say to fathers, who are not with their wives or the mother of their children, look out for those kids. They need you. Every child needs their fathers, they need their fathers. There are situations whereby maybe people just think, oh, she has gone with those children, and that's it. No, sometimes, we should not become irresponsible because somebody left, so, and then I can enjoy my own life. At the end of the day, people have regrets in their old age. Many people in their old age, they fall into depression based on the choices they've made. So what choices are you making? So make sure that, for everyone, whether women, there are situations whereby it's even the man that will even run away with that with their children and leave that woman hanging like, oh, it doesn't matter what happens. I think these things are not fair to us. They are not fair to we are not being fair to one another. God expects that we be kind to one another. See, when there is kindness, there will be respect, mutual respect at home. There will be love at home, and then there will be no issue of divorce. Especially, when you are kind to yourselves. So I just believe that God will give us wisdom, and we need, for we younger ones growing up, we will still hear many experiences in life. We will still see many things, hear stories. But we pray that God will give everyone wisdom. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. We are going to see you again next week by same time. Please